tree trimming operation going on today right outside the Blancolirio mighty Luscombe hangar. It's Friday the 16th of August. My name's Juan Brown. You're watching the Blancolirio channel, and next up is the runway overrun by the Cessna Citation 680A jet carrying the family of Dale Earnhardt Jr. I've been flying for over 40 years, commercial, military, civilian, and the Cessna Citation is one jet that I have no experience in. So I'll be looking for some input from some of you Cessna Citation drivers. So today we'll be boy, that's loud. So today we'll be discussing the facts of this accident as we know them so far. We'll look at the specifications for the Citation 680 mid-size business jet, and we'll also look at the numbers associated with the runway at Elizabethton Municipal Airport. So on Friday, 15 August, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his family were passengers on his privately owned Cessna Citation 680 jet operated by two professional pilots and landing at Elizabethton Municipal Airport in Tennessee so that Dale could get up to the Bristol Motor Speedway to announce the races this weekend for NBC, something he's been doing since he retired from NASCAR racing in 2017. On landing, the NTSB and the FAA have said that the aircraft experienced a very hard landing, or sometimes described as a firm landing. The aircraft bounced, and the aircraft departed the runway 24 off the departure end, rolled through the grass, or slid through the grass, slid through a chain link fence, through a ditch, coming to rest right on a very busy highway. As the aircraft went through the fence, it began to catch fire. The fire quickly engulfed the entire aircraft just before everybody was able to safely get out. Pilots and passengers were treated for minor injuries, or at least observed at the hospital and released. The NTSB today announced that the aircraft did have on board a cockpit voice recorder. They have that data. The NTSB also has interviewed everybody on board the aircraft. The NTSB also has surveillance video of the landing, which they are not yet releasing to the public and will not release to the public for at least 2 days. And all the statements that they've received from everybody on board the aircraft corroborate with the data that they're seeing on the surveillance video. There is no data recorder on this size of a mid-sized business jet. However, there is some data available through the avionics on board the aircraft. NTSB will be looking at that as well. NTSB investigators have found the skid marks on the runway associated with this incident. They'll be looking at that, and they'll be issuing a preliminary report in 7 days. That preliminary report will just be the facts. They will be making no determinations as to the cause of this accident for quite some time. The aircraft itself, holy smokes. The aircraft came to a rest nearly 1,000 feet off of the end of runway 24. The wreckage will be disassembled, removed from the site, and reassembled in a hangar for further inspection by the NTSB. Now let's review some of the specifications of the Cessna Citation 680A Latitude jet. It's a $17 million jet. I believe it began this model production in 2014. Carries 9 passengers and 2 pilots, has a 2,800 mile range and a 30,000 pound max gross weight. A 45,000 foot service ceiling, burns about 1,460 pounds of fuel per hour. That's between both engines included. That's about 250 gallons per hour. Uses the Pratt & Whitney 306 D1 engines. They put out 5,760 pounds of thrust each. So, and this, by the way, is Cessna's most popular, or the entire market's most popular mid-size business jet. This design has been around for years and is a very proven and well-liked design. The takeoff distance as advertised, and these distances vary greatly based on the conditions, temperature, pressure, altitude, that sort of thing. The advertised takeoff distance, 3,580 feet. Landing distance, 2,580 feet to 2,700 feet. Of course, weight plays a big difference in these numbers as well. This jet has an advertised balanced field length of 4,030 feet. The field length at the incident runway is 4,500 feet. So just enough room to operate this aircraft. Remember, balanced field length is that distance, minimum distance required for you at gross weight to achieve V1, takeoff decision speed, have a problem, abort the takeoff, and get that aircraft stopped in the remaining amount of runway.
Now let's take a closer look at the runway itself. Elizabethton is located near Johnson City and Bristol, Tennessee. Elizabethton Airport is an uncontrolled airport. That means Unicom only. There is no control tower. The pilots talk amongst themselves when entering and departing the airport traffic pattern. That's denoted by the maroon color of the airport as opposed to the blue color, for example, up at Bristol, which indicates a tower-controlled airport. This means the pilot in command has total discretion as to which runway he chooses to land on, and the winds at the time of the accident were reported as calm. We can also see that the field elevation of Elizabethtown is 1,593 feet above sea level, and the runway is 4,500 feet long and lighted with pilot control lighting. The runways here are runway 24 and runway 06. This represents the compass heading that these runways are oriented upon. This crew elected to land on runway 24. There's a difference in elevation of about 37 feet, indicating a slight downslope when landing on runway 24. Runway 24 has no visual approach slope indicator lights, whereas runway 6 does, and this is not uncommon. FASI lights help give pilots vertical guidance as they approach the runway, though these are not required for a visual approach.
This is just some of the details that accident investigators will be looking at when reviewing this accident. But the most important thing we need to determine, and this surveillance videotape will prove this, is at what point, how far down the runway did this aircraft touch down, and at what speed? Some witnesses claim this aircraft touched down very long, as much as halfway down the runway. Well, if you've got a 2,500 foot landing distance and you're halfway down a 4,500 foot runway, that doesn't add up. As the investigators check the mechanical integrity of the airplane, one thing they are going to need to check is a service bulletin that came out a couple of years ago on the Cessna Citation brake system. This service bulletin has been out for a while, and I would be surprised if it was a factor at all in this accident.
This service bulletin came out in July of 2017 and has to do with the brake wear indicator pin on overhauled brake assemblies.
A brake wear indicator pin is simply a pin that sticks out, and as the brakes wear, the pin retracts. Once that pin gets down to about 1/8 of or 1/4 of an inch or so, it's time to replace the brakes. If you've got the wrong brake indicator pin in your brake assembly after overhaul, your brake indicator pin could indicate good brakes when in fact your brakes are worn out. Again, I'd be surprised if this was a factor in this situation. So I hope this gives you a better understanding of some of the things investigators will be looking at as they investigate this accident. Everybody was very fortunate on this aircraft to get out when they did, as that fire started, as the aircraft was still slowly coming to a stop, and everybody was able to quickly get out before that aircraft was quickly engulfed in flames. As we get more updates and we get that preliminary report, I'll post it here. See you here.